Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday. I'm Marlon Bowling with you, keeping an eye on your grain and your livestock trade, and occasionally bringing in a little extra help, too. We have Jim McCormick on the line right now from Allendale Incorporated in McHenry, Illinois. Jim, as we got started today on our trading session, USDA reported a couple overnight sales that seemed to prop up the market a little bit on the corn and soybean trade. We had corn export sales of 180,800 tons. Those sales were announced to Mexico for the 2017 and 18 marketing year. And then we also had some soybean sales, 206,000 tons of soybeans to unknown destinations for the current or the old crop marketing year. That seemed to get the trade off on the right foot anyway in the early going here today, Jim, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I think the sales kind of gave us a positive start for the week, and we're continuing throughout the session. The export inspections for beans came in better than the trade was looking for, so that, the sale there, the good inspections has got the trade maybe feeling maybe we're going to see a little bit of an uptick when the government revises their export figures on Thursday. So I think that's helping bounce the beans a little bit. The grain, as for the corn, we're just not quite getting the rain they're looking for across Iowa and Illinois. It's not exactly hot, but we're not getting that rain for the grain fill, and the market, I think, is bracing for a slightly friendly number also on the corn on Thursday, and that's what's given the corn a boost this morning.
Well, we also had our export inspections, and those numbers seem to be fairly neutral for the corn. They were about identical to the last week. Soybeans came in, significantly higher than last week by about almost 200,000 tons. The wheat was fairly similar with what we had the week before, so it didn't seem to really have much impact on the market. Let's take a look at our prices here and take a look at the latest quotes direct from Chicago. On the corn first, we have December now 3 3/4 higher at 384 3/4. Seems like it's there just about every time we look at it today. Hasn't fluctuated very much from that point. Now, if you look at the soybean trade, if we go to the new crop November contract, we're now at 965 3/4. So that would be up 9 cents on the day. And it's up there within about 2.5 cents of our high from the session. On the wheat trade, we had a little firmness. We have September Chicago wheat now 3 1/4 higher at 458. Still 3 cents away, though, from our overnight high. If you look at Kansas City wheat, we have September just up a penny at 460 1/2. And on the Minneapolis wheat, that one has been the leader this morning. We have September 5 3/4 higher at 722. Jim, did you have much that has been tugging on this Minneapolis wheat market other than maybe just the weather?
I think it's the weather. We got the crop ratings to come out after the close tonight. The trend definitely has been for the Minneapolis wheat crop to get smaller, ratings shrinking back, and I think plain and simple, the trade's trying to position itself for a little bit friendly number, another decline in the ratings here this afternoon, and that's why the wheat's being led up into Minneapolis.
Okay, and it is being led higher by the nearby contracts, I might add as well. Now, as we take a look at our cotton market, we have had an upward push here today on all the contracts. Right now, October up 53. That new crop December contract, where most of the volume is, now trading at 70.75 per pound, and that would be up 13 points right now. March now up 34. So positive spin here on the cotton markets up to this point. They did get close to 71 cents earlier today, didn't quite make it there, but they are still in the hunt the way it looks. Jim, I'll bring you back here in just a moment, and we'll talk about our livestock trade. We have our new cutout values in. We have lots going on, big moves in the cattle complex, and you might be surprised at a move we had in the pork carcass cutout values too. Don't want to miss that when we come back. We're talking with Jim McCormick of Allendale Incorporated in McHenry, Illinois, and we are going to talk about our livestock trade today. It has been a tough go in the cattle complex. To start out the week, we had triple-digit losses pretty much all across the board on live cattle and on feeder cattle. Let's take a closer look. Right now on the live cattle board, man, they are just pushing to the downward side. Every time we check, it seems to be a little lower and lower. Right now, August live cattle down 255 at 112.90 on the day. And it looks like now we have October down 263, and it was showing a last trade of 111.47. Looks like we've been testing that limit down territory during the day. December down 208 at 113.10. Meanwhile, on the feeder cattle side, last time we checked, we were over $3 lower, and we still are. We have August down 327 at 146.68. And now we have September down 330 at 147.55, and that happens to be exactly $3 off its earlier high from this morning. October down 334 at 146.58. Wanted to update you here on the beef cutout values from midday here. According to USDA, they just came out mere moments ago, and choice cuts are down 13 cents today at 203.48. Selects down 42 at 196.89. But Jim, those do not necessarily seem to support the washout we're seeing taking place in the futures trade today. What's weighing on the market?
I think what's really weighing on the market right now is we're seeing fund liquidation, plain and simple. Marlon, the funds, they'd max out a record long position over this year, about 145,000 cattle contracts. They dumped out about 8,200 of them last week, according to Friday's CFTC report, and it looks like we're just seeing more and more liquidation of these funds getting out as the market keeps bracing for what a lot of the industry is calling a wall of cattle meat coming at us as we get ladder into the latter part of fall and into the winter time. And it looks like the funds are just trying to wash out. The $1 million question I think the trade's asking is, will they actually flip and go short? Now, they're still long 100,000 contracts, so they've got a long way to go if it goes short. But, the trend is them getting out the last couple of weeks, and that's plain and simple, I think, what's pressuring the livestock today.
What do you consider to be solid support under the cattle market right now?
Well, right now, I think, like on this October cattle, which is pretty much your front month, we bottomed out last week at about a 111.25 level, and we also had a low back on June 22nd around that same level. If we would take those levels out, the charts argue this little head and shoulder formation we've got could take you back down toward the 106.90 level, which is a 200-day moving average, and that's kind of where the charts would project. So, I mean, if you're bullish cattle, you want to see this get back late and have a late recovery today, back above 111.25, or the charts are really going to start taking a very negative tone to them, and that's not what we want to see.
Interesting stuff. Now, if you take a look at the lean hog market today, that seems to be going the other direction, though, even with all the bearishness taking place in the cattle complex. Look at October lean hogs. They're up $1.04 at 67.82, and that happens to be a new high for the day. December up 50 at 61.95. That's only 2 ticks from its high of the day. Jim, what's going on?
Well, I think right there, that has to do with this pork cutout that came out here. It was up $2.20 today. That's a little bit of a surprise, but the pork cutout's dropped over $10 from its highs, and it's kind of bounced a little bit here today. I think you got some people questioning maybe have we seen at least a temporary low in that, and that's causing a little bit of run up in the futures market, plain and simple.
Carcass values, as you mentioned, they're up $2.20. The loin market this morning up $3, almost $3.25. We have the ham market up $3.31 this morning, and even the bellies are up 49 cents at 203.43. And we'll once again recap the lean hog futures. Let's go back to those if we can. That nearby August contract, by the way, is now trading 18 cents higher at 83.40. But the most activity by far in October, and that's up $1.02. Jim, thanks for explaining all that. Boy, you covered a lot of ground. Did yeoman's work. Appreciate it very much, sir.
Thank you for having me on. Have a good morning.
You bet. You too, Jim. Thank you. Jim McCormick of Allendale in McHenry, Illinois.
Great friends. Yeah, you mentioned can't do it alone, and we don't try.
What a big change in the cutout value.
Yeah, we'll continue to watch that. Thank you.